Hey Miyoshi, so thanks for joining us today. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Myoshi. I am the site manager at the DuPont Experimental Station, and I've been with DuPont for about 21 years.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the first job you ever had?
Oh, wow. The first job I ever had was in Parkersburg, West Virginia. I was a new engineer helping a continuous polymerization process. And that just means it's a manufacturing plant that made plastic. and and something I that job was really impactful for me because being fresh out of college and not knowing a lot about general industry, I had to really lend myself to help develop relationships between myself, between the operators, between the other engineers that were more experienced than I was, and just learn how to garner feedback and expertise from a place that I didn't necessarily have.
Yeah, that must have been intense. That must have been intense.
It was intense, but it was fun. West
Yeah.
Virginia is a fun place to be.
All right, cool. So, can you talk about the work you do today?
Sure. As site manager at one of the largest R&D facilities in within DuPont, it's a fun role. I get to interact with researchers and lab analysts that do work to help solidify business for DuPont, and also that is innovative in nature to help grow not only DuPont but the outside world, right? And so there's a lot of things that you touch and feel, parts inside of a Tesla car, when you walk on an airplane, um, the hard surfaces that you touched. A lot of those things are manufactured by DuPont. And being able to be at a facility that does research and development to solidify that type of industry, it's not only a proud moment, but it's an inspiring one as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. It must be. So, what about your educational journey and accomplishments to get where you are today?
Sure. So growing up in Delaware, I was involved in a program called the Forum to Advance Minorities in Engineering. And it was a program that was designed to provide access to students that were interested in STEM roles. And, kids often become what they see. And I didn't have anyone around me that was an engineer. And so it allowed me to be around other adults who were engineers that wanted to inspire young people into that area. And so that was kind of my segue, if you will, into that discipline. I then went to Delaware State University in Dover, Delaware, and majored in chemistry. I did 4 internships with DuPont. And the great thing about internships is that they help you decide what you don't want to do. And so at that point, I decided I didn't want to be a chemist in a lab. And I went on to Penn State and got my graduate degree in chemical engineering. And I've been having fun each and every step of the way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so for the last question here, can you give us just a piece of advice to close out with?
Sure. I think the largest part of information that I would give is to make sure that as individuals, I think each and every one of us needs to do our part and pour into our communities. I think when you do that and you start educating those behind you, I think it's an inspiring opportunity for you to help build up the next generation, right? So whether it's your sister, your brother, your cousins, or lower classmen, I think it's a great experience for them to learn from what you've been able to capture. And so there's no reason why someone needs to live the same struggles that you did. And so for me, a large part of my full complement, my body of work that I do is always making sure that I'm looking and seeing how I can pour into others that either want to achieve something similar to that I have experienced, or even if it's different, to see how I can help.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Miyoshi.
All right, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it.